The new look Tottenham Stadium will be host to a big boxing bout this weekend. Usyk up against Anthony Oluwafemi Olasheni Joshua. His titles will be on the line and everyone will be watching out for who will emerge winner when these two pugilists meet in the squared ropes. But interestingly, a lot of people are saying Joshua should indeed carry the day. And one of them is his foe, Tyson Fury, who says Joshua has what it takes to beat his opponent, but then he should not underrate Usyk ahead of the bout. In the world of football, we shall be taking a look at what to expect this weekend, most especially in the Premier League. It will be a battle involving Premier League champions Manchester City and also European champions Chelsea Football Club at Stamford Bridge. And when two elephants, they say, fight, the grass certainly suffers. But back home in Nigeria, we're counting down to the Federation's election. All eyes will be on the sports minister, Mr. Sunday Dare, and they will be hoping that sport development will be crucial after the election. Fingers crossed, as the sports minister has also promised that it will be free and fair for all. On that note, I bid you welcome to another moment where we thrill, inform and entertain you. The program is Christian Sports Desk. Mianakiri is my name, and definitely everyone should hope that the Tigers, defending champions, will indeed make the country proud against Senegal. Welcome once again, Toye Ibitoye, the special advisor to the sports minister on multimedia, joins me on the program as we take a look at what to expect as far as the Federation election is concerned. Others are indeed taking shape as we take a look at them representatives on the board and also those who are vying for positions in various federations. Fingers crossed, we're waiting for next week, Thursday, the 30th of September. Mr. Toye Ibitoye, it's nice to have you on the program.
Thank you once again for the opportunity, Mian.
Well, let's start with tennis, Toye, and it's all about kids who are hoping to, make it to the biggest stage of tennis. And everyone is hoping that Nigeria will have, some of its members once again playing at the major Grand Slam tournament. Over the weekend, we saw young tennis players who are also getting some form of exposure at a very young age. And one of them was in Czech Republic, was in Croatia last year, competed at the under 10. And interestingly, some of the young lads who also played are forming what we call rivalry at a very young age. You have a young tennis player, the two of them at this point in time, they have met for the 7th time at the under 10 category of boys tennis, and it's good to know that it's looking good, for young tennis players in the country.
Yeah, man, this was an interesting one, developing rivalry at this early age, and it's good because the bigger picture is to see these guys gain exposure, learn the right things at this age, build on them, get the right kind of management, and be able to compete with some of the best tennis players in the world as they grow up, as they grow older, and they begin to get to the age of 15, 16, 17. You want to see these guys competing on the same level, at the same level with some of their peers all across the world.
So this is Malcolm Osaji. Malcolm Osaji played against Egbeyemi, and Egbeyemi has won 7 times. They've met 7 times. Egbeyemi has won, all games against Malcolm, and I was told that at the national level in Nigeria, as far as on the tennis concerned, these are the best the country has, the top 2, and then Egbeyemi, will always come out top.
Yeah, that's interesting, really. But then you hope that as they go on, Osage will also be able to pick up a few wins of his own.
That's it.
But it's interesting. For me, it's not about who wins or who loses at this stage. That is very crucial. What I want to see is in another 5-6 years, these guys should not just be champions in Nigeria, they should be amongst the best on the continent and globally competing with their peers. That's what I want to see. And that's why it's important for us to continue to encourage tournaments like this. They call it the Futures Tournament because it's about what these guys will become in the future. So it's really encouraging, and I hope that they continue to build up on this momentum going forward.
Well, if you've just tuned in, you're watching the program Sports Desk on TVC, taking a look at happenings as far as sport is concerned in the country. And Toye, before we take a look at the Federation's election, let's take a look at what sport has been like in general. And not because it's Toye is here, we're seeing some good sponsorship as far as football is concerned in Nigeria. And poco other sports, you know, are also taking shape. We're saying tennis, we're saying, you know, boxing and all that ahead of the Federation's election.
Yeah, it's that's the way to go, and that's the dream. That federations will be able to provide a lot of the funds that they need to run their programs. That's the hope that we are pursuing, and that's what the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports wants the sports federations to be. It wants them to be financially autonomous. Of course, sponsorship and support comes from government, but then government alone cannot carry everything through, and that's why the message is for credible people who can drive sponsorship, who can drive the associations, who come on board and be able to get private sector support for their programs. I like what you talked when you mentioned football. Clearly, the Nigerian Football Federation are top on the list of associations who have gone that way. And you see the president of the NFF all the time talking about self-funding. And it's really done well in the area of getting corporate bodies to come on board. And that's the same kind of drive that we hope other federations will have to be able to get funds for most of their programs. It's not every time that you have anything to do that you run to government, because the reality of our present situation is that government alone cannot fund all the activities that you want to do, because government have got other priorities for roads, for hospitals, for social amenities, for power and everything. So the more these corporate sports federations can get private sector sponsorship and partnership, the better for them. And that's the hope, that as the elections are approaching, federation elections are approaching, it will be part of the thinking of those who will be voting and those who will be aspiring to be on the boards of these national sports federations, that you need people who can get you private sector support to be able to run a lot of your programs. And it's very encouraging, really, when we are able to do that.
But what the comment? Well, welcome back. You're still watching the program Sports Desk, and if you've just tuned in, it's nice to indeed have you be a part of the show. I still have the special advisor to the Minister of Youth and Sport and Multimedia, Toye Ibitoye, in the studio. Well, Toye, let's take a look at the big one. This is crucial to the development of sport in the country. We have more than 30 sports federations, and everyone is looking forward to their election come the 30th of September. And with just a few days before the election into the board of the Nigerian Sports Federations, contestants vying for various posts are making final preparations to test their popularity at the polls. The elections will be supervised by the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and the guidelines and timetable for the process have since been released. Well, on Tuesday, the elections of all representatives from constituencies were concluded, while the zonal polls also took place on Wednesday. By-election will hold next Tuesday, while the national elections have been scheduled for Thursday, and everyone is hoping to get on the board of various federations. Well, Toye, I don't know how true, but there are, feelers that former governor of Abia State, Ojiuzo Kalu, may be vying for a position as far as weightlifting is concerned. We don't know if the sports ministry can confirm this, or probably list of those who will be vying for various positions will be made public. But then everyone is looking forward to next Thursday.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been insinuating that perhaps the ministry have got vested interests, wants a particular candidates, but I'm happy that you were there, and of course you've listened to the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports Development talk about a level playing field for everybody. The zonal elections from constituencies or stakeholders went peacefully, largely peacefully. So that's encouraging, and that's a confirmation of the fact that the ministry is really interested in providing a level playing field. Credible people are there in the electoral committee, credible people are there in the appeals, and the minister has told everybody aspiring to get onto those boards that, look, you have to trust the process, don't hit up the polity, go out there, canvass for votes in the legitimate way, and go and do your election. There are some associations, about 6 of them, that have their constitutions approved by their congresses and their international bodies. They have the freedom and the independence to go and do it in line with their own constitution. But for those who don't have it, the ministry is in charge. And just to correct an impression, the ministry is not in control of the elections, so to say. The elections are going to be conducted by the electoral committee. The ministry will be in line with the guidelines released. The ministry and the Nigeria Olympic Committee are going to be observers to ensure that the rules are followed. There's a level playing field, the elections are free, they are fair, and they are transparent. But
Toye, are you aware of some form of heated argument, so to say, on the outside surface when it comes to basketball? The Tigress indeed doing very well in Cameroon as far as the FIBA Afro Basket tournament is concerned, but then there are a lot of talking points, you know, for basketball, a position that had Kida, Musa Kida, and is also going to contest for the presidential position as far as the Nigerian Basketball Federation is concerned. These are some of the federations that everyone is looking at, because in the past it had, you know, its issue of different factions and till date
litigations as well
and all that.
But that's what we don't want to see this time around. This attitude of winner takes all contributes largely to everybody fighting to finish, baying for blood all the time, and that's what the minister is trying to correct this time. And that's why he has told everybody, look, follow the process. There's an appeal that will look into whatever misgivings you have. We have to trust the process. And the reality is this: you cannot have 2 presidents at a time. You cannot have everybody on the board. So there will be winners and there will be losers. It behoves on the winners to be magnanimous in their victory, you know, and not rub it in the face of those who have lost the elections. And it is also the responsibility of those who have lost to accept their loss in good faith and support those who have won. Because you win today, tomorrow you may lose. You lose today, tomorrow you may be the winner. So
the spirit of sportsmanship.
The spirit of sportsmanship. And as the minister said, we don't want litigations that will hurt the sport. A situation whereby you are not able to do anything around your sport, move it forward because of cases from elections and the bitterness. It's counterproductive. We have to get the bigger picture. And I hope that, as the minister said, we will have less rancor, we will have free and fair elections, and